Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kaz and I'm a channeler and a healer. In today's video we are looking at predictions for 2026. I am specifically looking at things that make it into the news. I'm hoping that we're going to get some positive things as well as some more usual things that we get on the news, which are, often on the negative side, but things that are newsworthy. When I thought of this, in September, and then things started coming to me in dreams. So I am going to feel this in bits and pieces. So you might see a change to nail polish or surroundings or things like that as we go through the video, but just bear with me. Some things I haven't got a lot of details on, so I have got my adventure in here to try and channel some more information through on. Other things they've left deliberately vague, so we will see. One caveat I want to make here is I don't want to mention people's names personally. I just feel for me that if you were someone that was very well known, not even by your own choice, maybe by birthright, you probably wouldn't want people cold reading for you. But that's my opinion, and I know that other people do it and that's up to them, but I just don't feel comfortable doing that. So what I will do is, even if I recognise the person, and I have had a few come through that I don't recognise the person, so even if I do recognise the person, I will describe them generally rather than the actual person. One thing that I do want to say is I don't tend to watch the news, so there may be some things that have already happened or come out and I wouldn't be aware of that. So if you have any information on this, you can pop it in the comments if you already know of this thing happening, because I don't like the energy that the news gives, so I don't tend to watch it. I would like to go through continent by continent to see if anything comes up there as well, so I might drag the atlas out for that later on, but we'll see how we go. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, I'm just going to pick up my crystals so I can amplify the energy here. Alright, so the first thing that I got was through a dream, and it was about a well-known blonde man. I feel he was an actor. I couldn't see his face, but he was famous. He was quite a fit person. I couldn't really tell his age, not too young, but not too old. So maybe between, 30 and 60. And I actually hopped into his body and I felt that I was shot in the back twice or stabbed in the back twice. My body felt the impact and I didn't know what was happening. I was confused, and there were people surrounding me. I think there was a limousine nearby, and I think this person died. So or everything went black after that, let's just say that. So there was a limousine nearby, and after the sensations on the back, so the bang bang to the back or the stab stab to the back, everything went black. So that's all I got around that. I'm just trying to see whether this person crosses over. They're not allowing me to see, they're cloaking it. So okay, that's all the information we have on that one, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so the next one, I see a burly man with grey blonde hair. He's a little bit older, and he was shaking someone's hand. He was dressed in blue denims, and there was a white minibus behind them. Now, I get that he knew this man on some level, and he got shot in the chest twice by this person. It's like the person was shaking his hand, but then shot him twice in the chest. The person that shot him was associated with the prisons. From this incident, there's going to be an impact on a lot of other things. So it may be that this one person had a problem with the man with grey blonde hair, but it impacts other things. And so there is some upheaval to do with other things because of this shooting. Now, once again, I didn't get that the man passed away. I just got that he was shot. And I was talking to a friend about this, and she said this is like the energy that she felt was like Julius Caesar and Brutus. It was someone that he at one point thought was a very good friend or a very good ally, and this person betrayed him. So I haven't got any more information for that one. All right, so I'm bringing us back to Perth, Western Australia, which is where I live. And for some time now, I'm going to bring this in because it does impact next year. Since 2023, I've been feeling that there's going to be a real estate market crash here in Western Australia in 2026. This keeps coming to me, so I am going to add it here because it does affect 2026. I'm not sure on the timing though. I'm feeling maybe in the first half of the year, perhaps. It's going to suddenly deflate. So it's had such an increase for such a long time. Ever since COVID, the prices have been going up and up and up and up. And we're in a situation here, and it may be the same in other places in the world, where first home buyers can't afford to buy anywhere. So it's shut people out of the market, essentially. So it's more like it is going to plummet. Prices are going to get very cheap, but then it's going to balance out and be a bit more even again. So if you're looking at selling, it may be good to sell now as long as you're not buying in the same market. And then if you have the ability to, wait until the prices go down to buy in the market. Now, coming along with this is also a stock market crash, and I'm feeling March for this. So this may happen, I feel like it's kind of a whole world. It's going to be impacted by this. I'm seeing a tower, so it will happen quite suddenly. And it may be March, it may be April, but earlier on in the year. And there may even be some reverberations in October as well, because I'm getting October too. So there may be a time where something suddenly happens. And what I'm being drawn back to was in the 1920s, it might have been 28 or 29, when there was a stock market crash. And it's almost like a cyclic thing I'm seeing, and there may be a depression after it. So if that's the case, it's probably time to protect your assets now and look at where your money is and whether it's in something that would survive something like that. So worth looking at. Along those same lines, when I was talking to my friend about this video, her name is Caroline, I'm going to put her name in here, she actually gave me a prediction too, and she just suddenly saw it as we were talking. So she saw Kalgoorlie. Now Kalgoorlie is the goldfields of Western Australia, and so this is where gold is mined, and it has been for a couple of centuries, maybe not a couple of centuries, it has been for a couple of centuries, and it's still being mined in that area. And what she saw was Kalgoorlie, and she said that it has to melt before it moulds again, and what she was seeing was the smelting process. And so gold is going to be probably affected by something, or either the prices will skyrocket or plummet. So gold is something that's highlighted here. Let's see if I'm getting anything else on that. Okay, I'm hearing there's a bit of a turnaround. So I'm not sure, because I don't follow any sort of media for news or anything like that. I have no idea what's going on with gold prices at the moment. So I feel like it's going to be affected, but then it's going to be exalted again. So traditionally, gold has been always a safe bet, as far as I know, throughout the centuries of man, because gold is something that never tarnishes. I'm being shown that gold is in the earth, you dig it up and it's gold, whereas silver tarnishes is what I'm getting. So I feel like even if it drops, it will rally and be stable again. Yeah, so I feel like it will drop and then rally again. It may have already dropped, I don't know. So this is something you can let me know in the comments. With that prediction, Caroline also says that there's places around the world that need to melt. And she got America needs to melt, Gaza needs to melt, our economy needs to melt. So that was separate to what I was getting about the stock market crash. And so her energy picked up on that as well. She also highlighted Venezuela and Germany for some reason. She couldn't tell me why. All right, moving on. So in a dream, I got Lionsgate in August 2026. It's going to be very highlighted. I'm not sure what's going on astrologically with that, or whether it just is a big energy time, or whether something significant's going to happen on the 8th of August or around the 8th of August. And following that, I saw a pride of lions, but they were all dead. Someone had come along and slaughtered them. And there's going to be a big public outcry about it, and something is going to be done to help prevent that in the future. So it wasn't even like people were taking the carcasses to use for meat or skins or anything like that. They were just left. And it was a whole pride. So I'm getting 6 to 8 lions. And obviously that was in Africa. And behind that dream came that there was a diamond mine that floods. And because we were in Africa and that's where some diamonds are mined, I felt that this was in Africa as well. And this flooding of the diamond mines means that there will be a low production. So the prices will increase because the demand stays the same, but the availability drops. So it may be a mine that produces a lot of diamonds. I don't know anything about that industry at all. So someone might be able to say which they think it is. Memphis was highlighted for some reason. I feel like there might be an uprising there or some rioting. It may be to do with politics. Again, I don't know anything about American politics. I barely know anything about Australian politics. Maybe there's an election or a by-election or something going on, but or maybe someone's going to be exposed for something. I feel like people are protesting about something. There may even be unfair things happening industrially, so to wages, or something to do with power. It may be to do with utilities. So something that is going to affect a large amount of the population, and people will be unhappy and they'll express that unhappiness. And this may even result in affecting someone politically. So it maybe if someone's already in power, they will be shoved out. Or maybe if there's an election, the people that they thought were going to win won't win. So there's something going on with that. Now, I got in another dream that peace talks are shrouded in mystery. So there's peace talks going on that we know nothing about. And this may have been going on for some time. So I'm filming this part in October 2025. And I feel like this has been happening for 6 months. And it's something that the general public don't know anything about. And it is being brokered by someone unusual, someone who isn't normally seen as dealing with peace talks. And I'm getting no indication of who this is. I may not actually know this person, but it's not someone who's traditionally known for getting involved in these sorts of things. And I'm not getting whether it's the Middle East or UK or Ukraine, Russia. I'm just feeling it may be all of those things. It may be more than one conflict that we've got going on at the moment in the world. but it is being talked about now, and there may be a deal struck in the early part of 2026. I heard a distinct line about the head of a family, and I heard that this person is dead, and that was like an announcement. So I don't really want to say the word that I heard because it identifies probably a few people, but I just want to be circumspect here because I don't want to put anyone under any undue stress if they personally know this person. So there may be a death of a well-known person who's head of a family in 2026. In another dream, I got that a world-renowned comedian had breathing difficulties or has breathing difficulties. Whether this person was exposed to something or has contracted a disease or something like that, but his troubles are going to be highlighted, and it brings awareness to what other people are going through. So his struggle is going to help others. So it may be that there's a fundraiser for whatever it is. It may be that people weren't recognised for having this issue, and when this public figure, this comedian, brings it to light, the people who were struggling to maybe get paid a disability pension or something like that will get the recognition of their struggle in some way. So even though this person is suffering, they're going to help others by talking about what they're going through. So there's going to be more than usual sights of whales breaching. People are going to be reporting seeing whales a lot and them jumping out of the water and having fun, essentially. I feel like this is heralding a new dawn. I feel like it's talking about new beginnings. Now, of course, 2026 is going to be a number one year. So a universal number one. So it is the time of new beginnings. And I feel like the whales are going to be a sign that indicates new things happening and exciting new things happening. So I feel really happy and joyous about this energy, which is a relief after all the heavy energy. And it is going to be reported a lot. So in unusual places as well. So I'm seeing Sydney Harbour. I don't know if whales breach there, but I'm seeing places like Sydney Harbour where there's a lot of traffic. And so a lot of people are going to be exposed to this. And it's almost like there's codes embedded with this. And for those people seeing them, it's going to be like awakening call. A awakening call is what I'm getting. Yeah. It's going to be universal though, so it's like all around the world this will be happening. Maybe in rivers and places where you don't normally see whales, but people will start seeing that. Last night I had a dream, and the context was in Perth, but it may not be in Perth, but what I got was on a freeway, a fire truck had an accident and rolled, and there was some fatalities of firefighters. They were on their way somewhere and they got into an accident, and unfortunately a few of them passed. So that could happen anywhere in the world, but I think the context, they gave it to me in Perth near Leederville because that is a freeway, and Leederville is an area where there's a lake and a cafe strip and close to the city. It's actually quite a few weeks later than the last filmed. It's now December. So I'm going to carry on with the predictions. I've had a few more come through, and then we're going to start with the continent predictions here. So first of all, I just want to say that I'm getting a big theme of water for 2026. So what's going to happen is water is either going to be scarce or it's going to be overabundant. So in some places they might get a lot more rainfall than they usually do, and in other places they might be a lot drier than they usually are. In some places there may be sea swelling, there may even be, I don't want to say tidal waves, but more like waves encroaching where they don't normally go, but it might be more erosion than anything else. There may be one place, possibly near Japan, that might be under threat of tsunami in 2026. The water is going to be very important. It's very important to hydrate yourself in 2026. Our cells are activating into something a little bit higher, so water and a really good source of water is important. If you filter your water, that's great. Bless your water. And also if you use a reverse osmosis, remember to put a little dash of Celtic salt or Himalayan salt or something in it to re-energize with minerals before you drink it. And I don't know why I'm drawn to tell you that, because this is about the world, but it's important, it's come through, so I tell you. Okay, so there may be widespread flooding and there may be droughts as well, so it just depends on what part of the earth. And it may even be that one area of the city is inundated with water and one area of the city is totally dry. So it will be like almost neighbours will experience different things. So let's say it's a farming community. One part of the farming community might get a lot of rain and one part of the community may not. So the weather patterns are changing, but it's more to do with water at this moment. They're telling us to conserve water if you're in an area that is hot and dry, because it will be needed. There might be more widespread water usage restrictions going on than what people are used to. So if you have the room and the ability, you might want to put in some water tanks. Conversely, if you have a problem with flooding where you are, you might want to have sandbags ready. There's just going to be a lot more to do with water. Now on this topic, I saw either an oil tanker or a cruise ship that gets into trouble. One of them might run aground. I have a feeling it may be a cruise ship, but it might be an oil tanker. They're huge, huge ships. And it will run aground somewhere. Somewhere where it normally is able to navigate, but something happens and it's not able to navigate that area. And there might be people stranded, or there might be an issue with cargo coming off. So even if it's not an oil tanker, maybe it's a cargo ship, they might lose a lot of cargo from this. If it's an oil tanker, I don't feel that there's any spilling going on, but there might be threatening of spilling. So there's a lot of emergency action that goes into that. I feel like there's something else I need to say around this. Let's have a look. With something that runs aground, it may be because someone wasn't paying attention to the warning signs. There's something else going on behind that. So I guess if something happens, then someone will be found culpable or negligent around this. But that may be a lot further in the future. Okay, we're going to start with different parts of the world and see if I can pick up on anything. As I said before, I'm not great at politics, so it may just be a general political association. All right, let's start with the UK. Okay, I'm getting things are getting tighter here and a little bit stranger. For some reason, the word strange is coming in. So things have been a little bit strange there for a while. I feel like they're going to get a little bit more bizarre. Things are shifting geopolitically, and this shift and this little bit of upheaval is allowing things to change long term. So in 2026, we might just see upheaval. There may be a surprise resignation in the political arena, and yeah, I'm even hearing the term abdication, but I don't think that's what they mean. I think someone's just going to give up their post. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of the royals, but someone's going to give up their post. The housing market is going to fluctuate there, and there's a lot of people saying sorry for something. Maybe we've had it here where the government is saying sorry to people. So maybe that's going to be something that happens there. But I'm hearing a lot of people saying sorry for something. But I can't be any more specific than that. Let's go to Europe. Okay, I'm getting a mixture here because there are so many countries in Europe. I feel that some will be very, very prosperous in 2026 and some will start to flag. Like maybe if they have been prosperous, they'll start to lose, their economy will start to flag in some way. And this will be triggered by something that's going on worldwide. And I did mention before a market crash. So, oh gosh, I'm feeling Monaco. I'm feeling Monaco here with something. Maybe, they do have a lot of casinos and things. Maybe the bottom's going to fall out of that business or something. Because I'm definitely feeling them. I'm feeling Switzerland as far as money, but we know that Switzerland's very good with the money. So I'm just trying to feel what's going on there. There will be a little shake up there. Maybe some laws are going to change around banking there, or the way people make money there. Oh, there may be an absolute trigger for that as well. France, I feel, is going to be fairly stable. Germany might have some rioting. There may even be some terrorist action there. There's going to be something that's a little bit divisive in Germany. So there might be some peaceful protests that turn into something that's quite chaotic. There's a lot of repressed anger there that needs to come out. So I'm feeling that definitely. Italy, I feel that Italy is just going to continue as is. There's not going to be much that affects Italy. There might be an earth tremor in the centre. Spain, I feel it's going to be a very good year for tourists in Spain. It may always be a good year for tourists in Spain, but next year in particular is going to be very good for tourism. I am seeing some guns though, people holding guns. There's some protection that needs to go on because I don't know what I'm feeling about these guns. Let's have a look. There may be a gun battle at one point during the year. It's not something that's going to be sustained, it's just going to be one incident. But they might have to call in armed response or the army or something because there's a lot of men in uniform with guns as well. Being drawn back to Switzerland, there's something under the earth there that wants to come out, and it may be energetic rather than physical, and it's going to cause some upheaval. We might see an avalanche or two. Maybe there's a few little earthquakes or earth tremors. Something wants to be released there. All right, we've already touched on Africa with the diamond mines and the lions, but I just want to see if I get anything else. Yeah, I'm just feeling general upheaval. People are trying to have a voice, but they are being shut down there. But now that the world has opened up with social media, more people are having a voice. Some of them may have to be a little bit careful because even if they try to stay anonymous, some people are trying to track them down. So they may just need to be a little bit more careful than what they're being. There's something of great joy though coming to Africa as a general continent. I feel like it might be an energy. There might be a portal opening up. Now, I didn't want to get into more of this spiritual stuff. I wanted to do things that are more physical or general, but this is what's coming through, so I'll just roll with it. There may be an energetic portal opening up there, so the energy is going to lighten a little bit in certain places around this portal, and I can't tell you exactly where it is. Actually, I do feel like it might even be right in the centre of the continent, and it just opens up. It might start as a pinprick of light, and it just opens up. It's like Africa has had a lot of karma and it's starting to loosen that karma, it's starting to ease. Russia, I feel like the people are fed up. The people are absolutely fed up in Russia, and they are going to start voicing their concerns, and they're going to start really having a voice about what is wrong with the country and what is wrong with the politics in the country. There might be an uprising of some sort. There is a bit of a battle internally, so even though Russia has got something going on with the Ukraine, I feel there's going to be a lot of internal battles, domestic battles. So it might be people in certain parts of the country want to take back their country. And again, I don't know too much about the history of this area, but I feel like Russia as a nation over history has swallowed up other little countries, and some of these countries are going to try and take their land back and be their own countries again. This may start in 2026, but it will continue going for quite a few years, maybe 2, 3, 4 years. Moving on to Asia, I'm just going to pick up the thing again. Here we go. Okay, so I'm getting this is one of the places where widespread flooding is going to be an issue, particularly those places that might have a wet season and a dry season. And it may be that normally they get 150 days of rain and they might get 300 days of rain next year. So it's going to be one of those things where the weather conditions change and cause disruptions. So there might be a lot of mud, there might be land slippage, torrents of water. So some of the low-lying areas might really be affected by this. China, I'm getting that there's political unrest and that the people are really struggling there. I feel like the government's attention will be pulled towards internal affairs in 2026, and there's a lot going on there. It is a big country with a lot of people, but it's almost like the politicians are trying to keep their head above water and the people are struggling. In some areas people are starving, and a lot of aid is needed in some of those areas, and they're just not getting it. There's something going on with money as well in China, and I don't think it's something that we're aware of at this point in time, but it's going to be more apparent as 2026 goes on. I know that they do keep things close to their chest, but I think it's going to be something that becomes very obvious to the rest of the world. North America, I'm getting widespread unrest. There's going to be some political changes there. And I'm literally seeing people abandoning ship. So whether this relates back to where I saw the cruise ship or the oil tanker or cargo ship running aground, but I've literally got the thing of people jumping overboard. So that may be a metaphor of people just leaving jobs or leaving government sectors or having enough of the way things are going, and they're just walking away or like running away, jumping away. I feel like it's their own choice though. I feel like people are taking their own initiative to abandon ship. So it may be that some sectors become under-resourced with people very, very quickly because people are unhappy. South America. In Peru, I'm getting that there's going to be a great treasure found, and it may be something that's unearthed. I am seeing some gold, but I feel like this treasure relates to an ancient culture, and I'm even seeing, you know, that golden sun. I'm seeing that. I'm not sure if that relates to Peru, but I'm seeing like a statue of a golden sun. But it is going to come from the ground. So there may already be archaeologists digging around there, and they will find something quite spectacular. Brazil, there's social unrest. I feel like it's been going on for the last 5 years, but it may actually come to a head in 2026. They might see a lot of fighting and things like that. I'm not getting anything particular for Argentina. Mexico has been hit hard by the changes in the US, and they're trying to forge their own path. So I feel like economically they're trying to be a lot more independent than they have been in the past. Now, I know I haven't talked much about North America, but I'm not getting a lot about North America. I guess if you want another video where I really concentrate on each of these areas, I can do that. I'm only going with where the energy pulled me. So now I'm going to Australia and New Zealand. So I am from this area, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time here. So in Australia, there's going to be widespread bushfires. This happens every summer, and they're always huge. But I feel like in particular there's going to be a massive, massive one that spreads from one state to another. So I'm getting that it is over east. It may be from New South Wales to Victoria, or from Queensland to New South Wales, or vice versa. And a lot of resources will be needed to just try and manage it. It will be a lot of people pulled from across the world to come and help with this big fire. That may happen early in the year or at the end of the year. And I'm getting, because there's lack of water, so maybe it's towards the end of the year where there's been a dry winter or something like that, because it's almost like the firefighters run out of water, or the firefighters run out of resources for some reason. Maybe the resources get cut off. I'm also getting generally there's unrest in the top end towns, so we're looking at, you know, the top end of Western Australia. We might be looking at Northern Territory and Queensland. There's just general unrest. People are unhappy. So there might be a lot of fighting, and resources might be needed to be pulled from the cities to go and help with that. I'm getting that may already be happening, but it's probably going to escalate somehow. Some sort of organisation happens where people are unhappy, band together, and they demonstrate on a big scale, and resources have to be flown, I'm hearing, to the area to help with the unrest. in Darwin, I'm getting that resources are stretched. So I only heard resources, so I don't know if this is people or government, but I'm feeling that resources are stretched. Maybe supply lines are affected or something like that, but that's the general thing there. I'm getting nothing else with that. Brisbane, I'm hearing a lot about power outages there. So something is going on with the power there, and there may be outages. So if your business absolutely relies on power, like if you work online, you might want to think about finding some way around that. Keep your devices charged, that sort of thing. And it's out of the ordinary. So I've never lived in Brisbane, but if that's an area where there sometimes is a lot of power outages, it's going to be extended, or they're going to be more frequent. So people should really start thinking about how they're going to cope if there's no power. Sydney, there's going to be a lot of land erosion. So I'm seeing like waves crashing onto the cliffs or the rocks. And there's going to be quite a few storms coming through, but also water surges. And some land may be eroded because of that, and there'll have to be emergency infrastructure put in to help cope with that. Melbourne, what I got from Melbourne was a culture change. And that could be anything. It's very vague, so I apologise for that, but I just heard culture change. Now, Melbourne is known for its cafes and its coffee and things like that. So, from my point of view anyway, I guess other people have difference of opinions there. So I'm just wondering whether it's something to do with that. Maybe their supplies of coffee go down or something. Adelaide, I'm getting that there's going to be an increase in tourism. So if you work in the tourism industry in Adelaide, it might be quite a prosperous time in 2026. And I've already talked about a couple of things in Perth. I didn't get anything extra to that. In New Zealand, I got the North Island. There's going to be a lot of rain, and even some earth tremors. But I think from what my New Zealand friends tell me, that happens frequently anyway, but I feel that there's going to be more rain than usual there. I haven't ever visited New Zealand, so please excuse my ignorance. So I'm just going to talk about the North Island and the South Island. So on the South Island, there's going to be something to do with trains. Trains are highlighted here. So the train system, there might be a particular train that goes from one place to another that's going to be derailed or stopped, or the tracks are going to be damaged or something, and it may interrupt services for up to 6 weeks. So people may have to work around that. I'm getting, as an overall whole of people on the earth, despite the dark times that sometimes happen to us in life, there is a good measure of hope, and people are becoming a little lighter in their energy. Now, you may not be seeing this on a daily basis, but it is happening, and 2026 there is going to be a further lightening of energy. And even though people are very disgruntled, it's not the only thing they think of. Like, they also think of lighter things. So it's becoming more of a balance of energy here, rather than just the negative, which we're often shown. There's going to be a lot of positive as well. We just have to recognise it and to tune into that. Okay, this may have been a very long video. If you'd like more of this, please pop it in the comments. And this is the first time I've done something like this. If you'd like me to focus on a certain area, I know there's a lot of countries that I haven't mentioned, and it just may be because they didn't pop in as I was talking about some of these places. So If you'd like me to concentrate on a certain country, you can pop that in the comments and I can do another one like this later on. I'm wishing you a wonderful 2026 and I will see you in my next video.